Ego needs constant refueling, feeding. Ego is like a battery that gets discharged very fast. Its life is short-lived. It is unreal. So you have to constantly charge even while it is in use. You have to keep it always charging. Only then the battery, the ego will work, because its battery is getting a constant charge. Sometimes you have a smartphone, that battery does not hold the charge. So you have to constantly fuel it, constantly put it on charge. That is the nature of ego. Ego needs, you cannot even carry your ego for 24 hours. It is so unreal. You have to constantly refuel it, feed it, charge it. While you are talking to someone, you have to keep the battery of ego charging. While you are asleep, ego is not there. That is why in the morning when you get up, you feel fresh, because you have been in deep contact with the reality. In deep sleep, ego is not there. Your name, your form, your status, all that constitute you have dissolved. This happens in deep sleep. That's why when meditation deepens, it is like a deep sleep. Then this happens and you are, the ego has dissolved. You do not know who you are, educated or uneducated, rich or poor, saint or sinner. You don't know. In deep sleep, you have fallen into the womb of the cosmic whole. Ego is not there. In deep sleep, ego is not there. When you are in deep sleep, ego has vanished. When you are relaxed, silent, again ego is not there. When you are absorbed in something so totally that you have forgotten, the ego is not. Listening to music, you forget who you are. Ego is not there. And really, the peace that comes to you is not coming through the music. It is actually coming that you have forgotten to refuel your ego or recharge its battery. Music is instrumental. Looking at the beautiful flower, sunrise or sunset, you forget yourself to charge the battery of ego. Then suddenly you feel something has happened to you. You are not there. Something greater than you is there instead of you. This presence of the great Jesus calls as God. The word is just symbolic. You can call it God, you can call it by any other name. Jesus calls it God, it is symbolic. Muhammad calls it God, the word is just symbolic. God means something greater than you. Nanak calls hukum. the cosmic law, again greater than you. A moment when you feel something greater than you is happening in you. When something greater than you is happening in you, and you can feel this only when you are not. In deep absorption of anything, you are not there. Instead, a greater presence has taken over you. When you are cooking sometimes, or you're doing any act, you say, I don't know, it happened beyond my control. While you are there, the greater cannot happen to you because you are the barrier. The moment, any moment, when you are absent, God is present. That's why Kabir says, the lane is very narrow, two cannot exist. Either you are there or God is there. Your presence, your absence is the presence of the divine or something greater. Remember it always. Your absence is the presence of divine. Your presence is the absence of the divine. Your absence is the presence of divine, and your presence is the absence of the divine. So really the question is not how to reach God. We ask how to reach God. This is the wrong question. The question is not how to attain to God. The question is how to be absent in a particular moment. You can not be absent, forget yourself in all the moments. Whenever you are, and how many times when you are doing the act, any act, you are present. The moment you are not present, you become a creator. You are a self-inspiration to yourself. So the question is how to be absent and allow the greater presence take over you. You need not worry at all about the divine. You can forget it completely. There is no need to remember even the word God. Is not important. It is irrelevant because the basic question is not God. The basic question is your ego. If you are absorbed, look at the children when they are absorbed in their play. The ego is not there. And when ego is not there, there is innocence. That innocence is the manifestation of godliness in you. If it is not there, God happens to you. Creativity happens to you. And if you try, if you make an effort to reach God, to attain God, or to be liberated, you may miss, because the whole effort to attain to God is ego-oriented. So all those who talk about that I am seeking God, this is ego trip, egocentric. That is the problem for the spiritual seekers. It may be just the ego which is thinking to attain to God. Otherwise, who else want to attain to God? Because you are already the seed of that. You are created in the image of God also. So there is no question whatsoever. You cannot be satisfied with your own worldly success. You have achieved in the outer world, you have reached a certain status, position, or prestige. You are powerful, rich, knowledgeable, respected. Does your ego feel satisfied? No matter how rich you get, you are never satisfied. Ego is the unsatiable hunger, unsatiable quest that gets never satiated. It is never satisfied, and the reason is the same. A real hunger can be satisfied, but if you are feeling that you are hungry but you are not really hungry, how can it be satiated? The hunger of ego is false. Therefore, it cannot be satisfied. Whatever you do will be futile because hunger is false. No food can satisfy it. If the hunger is real, it can be satisfied in any way. All natural hungers can be satisfied. It is nothing, not a problem at all. But unreal hungers cannot be satisfied. In the first place, they are not hungers. How can you satisfy them when they do not exist? And they are unreal. Just emptiness is there and you do not know what it is. So you go on throwing the food. You go on throwing the food in an abyss, a bottomless abyss, and you reach nowhere. The ego cannot be satisfied. I have heard when Alexander was coming to India, someone said to him, "Have you ever meditated upon the fact that there is only one world, and if you win it, then what will you do?" And it is reported that upon hearing this, Alexander became very sad and said, "I have not thought about it. It makes me very sad. Really, there is only one world and I am going to win it. And when I won it, what am I going to do after that? Even this whole world cannot quench your thirst, the thirst of ego, because this thirst is false, unreal. The hunger is not natural. Ego can go on in search of God. In almost 99% cases out of 100, this has been my feeling, that ego is in search. And then if ego is in search, then it is bound to be doomed from the very beginning, because ego is unreal, it does not exist, and ego cannot meet divine. It is like a darkness going to meet the light. Darkness cannot meet the light, or falsehood cannot meet the truth. They are like parallel lines, parallel railway lines that are running side by side. They never intersect one another. Remember well, your meditation, your prayers, your worship should not in any way be an ego trip. If it is, you are unnecessarily wasting your energy. So be perfectly aware of this fact. And this is the only question of awareness. If you are aware, you can find out how ego moves and works. It is not difficult. No particular training is needed to know the nature of ego. You can close your eyes and you can see what the search really is. You can ask the question, whether you are really seeking the divine or whether it is again just an ego trip, because it gives you respect. All the spiritual people, they command respect, because people think if people think that you are religious, because deep down you think, how can I be satisfied? How can I be satisfied? Unless you can be satisfied, you think, if I possess God. Unless I possess God, you cannot be satisfied. Is God to be your possession? The Upanishads say, one who thinks that he has achieved God has not achieved. Because the very assertion that I have achieved God is the assertion or explanation of ego. The Upanishads say, one who claims that he has known has not really known. The very claim shows that he has not yet known. Therefore, the very simple technique is feel your thoughts, my thought, because I am speaking to you. My thought, I-ness, internal organs, me. The first thing is not to think, we think. Whenever we say we think. But instead of thinking, move to feeling. The thinking and feeling are two different dimensions. And we have become the intellect oriented, that even when we say that we are feeling, really we are not feeling, instead we are thinking. Feeling has a completely different approach, and really feeling has stopped. It has become a dead organ in you. Even when you say I love, it is not a feeling, instead it is a thought. And what is the difference between thinking and feeling? And how can you differentiate between the two? If you feel, what happens? If you feel yourself centered near the heart, if you are centered near the heart, and if I say I love you, this very feeling of love will flow from my heart as a center, and it will reach you. You will feel the vibrations reaching you. If it is just a thought and it is coming out of my head, when you love someone, try to feel whether it is coming from head or coming from heart. If I say I love you and you feel something near your heart, that means it is coming from my heart and receiving by your heart as a feeling. Whenever you deeply feel, there is no head, you are headless. In that moment, there is no head, and really there can be no. The heart becomes your whole being. And if head has disappeared, then something arises in you. The heart becomes your whole being, and it appears as if head has disappeared completely. In feeling, the center of being is the heart. While you are thinking, the center of the being is head. But thinking has proved to be useful for the survival, so we have stopped everything else. All dimensions of our being have been stopped functioning, or they are closed. So now we only think, and even when we feel, we say we think. We are just heads, and the body is just a situation for head to exist. We go on thinking, even about feeling, we go on thinking. So try to feel first. Feel first your own hand. You will have to work on it, and you have to work hard on it in the beginning, because that capacity, that quality of feeling has remained retarded, and it was not allowed to grow into you. You must do something first to reopen that possibility that you can learn to feel. You look at a flower, and immediately you say, it is beautiful. Introspect over the fact. Linger over the fact. Don't give it a hurried judgment. Wait. And then see whether it is coming from head or coming from your head, that you have said it is beautiful. This word, this flower is beautiful, is coming from head, or you have felt it within. It is just a routine thing, as when we go on the online, we read a post, and we immediately, before reading it, you like it. It's a routine, because you know a rose is always beautiful. In the same way, the people who are connected with me, the moment they say a post is from Tao, it must be good. So they put different kind of emojis, stickers, and all that. So that is habitual, hackneyed. It is not coming from deep within. Very rarely I feel that the comment that person has put on my post is coming from deep within them. People say it is beautiful, the rose is beautiful, so you also agree with it. The moment you see the rose, mind supplies you with the answer. Mind says, based on the experience, it is beautiful, finished. Now there is no contact. The moment you said flower is beautiful, the contact between you and the flower has vanished. The moment, and you think you are doing very great, you are impressing someone. When you put emoji or any kind of a sticker or any kind of word, immediately you have lost the connection with that post. And I know it. There is no connection between you and this post. You have simply shared it, or you simply put a like on it, and that is it. Just like many years ago, when I used to have the radio program, so the people were interested in getting the script, so I used to get it typed and make the photocopy available a couple weeks I did not see a person. So when I saw him, I said, I haven't seen you seen you. He said, no, I come and collect the script every time because they are very useful and I use them in my talks. Finished. So these things are utility for you. And for you, you consider putting your like or any kind of word, message, you consider is your worship, your prayer, and your way of spirituality. It is erroneous. The answer is supplied by the mind. You have not developed even the art of feeling. So when you read a post, if you feel and it begins to grow in you, your life will be transformed and you do not need to like my posts or anything. The mind comes in between, and the moment mind comes in, the heart cannot touch the rose. Only the head has said whether it is beautiful or not. Because beauty is not a concept, is not a thought, is a feeling. When a post is written, it is overflowing out of heart. It must touch your heart, not your head. If it touches your head and you are reaching it through your head, then you will post what you normally accustomed doing it. If you feel, you will flow with it, and then one day you may want to talk to the person. So if you come in deep contact with any person, the person becomes beautiful for you. The deeper the contact with a person, a flower, a message, the more beauty is revealed. But beauty, remember, is a phenomena that happens to the heart, not to the mind. It is not a calculation because there is no criteria by which to judge the beauty. Beauty is a feeling. So when I say this rose is not beautiful, you cannot argue about it. There is no need to argue. You will say this is your feeling and the rose is beautiful. This is my feeling. There is no question of argument. Head can argue, but heart do not argue. With head, argument can continue and we can come to a conclusion. But with heart, the process of conclusion comes to a cessation. You cannot conclude or come to a judgment. It is your personal feeling. So important thing is learn to feel the heart. Feeling arises out of heart, not out of the mind. Enough for now.